All right, good afternoon, guys. Just gonna see, wait a few minutes here. It's the top of the hour. Markets closing or about to close. So yeah, pretty active market today overall, I would say. Um, so we'll touch on a few topics here as soon as we get some folks to join us. We'll start 5 past the hour here, guys. Just kind of waiting for folks to join the call, join the session, I should say. We'll talk through Hey, Shadow Hunter. All right, so we all right, just gonna wait here a few more minutes, guys. It's about 2 past the hour. Yeah, it was overall, at least for me, was green. Hopefully, it was green for others. We'll get into it here. I think Shadow Hunter, you're probably actually maybe you're not as aware on the second trade that I took. Hey, DRE trader. All right. Just a couple more minutes here. Just gonna wait five past the hour before we get started here, guys. This is kind of a special session that I'm kind of experimenting with here a little bit, guys. Um, we have our regular pre-market session that we're doing, and I thought, given the fact that I wasn't available here last couple of days to do my group session, that I thought I would, host a session on Fridays. As I've mentioned to you guys in the past, I don't, I generally reserve my Friday evenings. I call Fridays my family days. But since this is a little bit earlier in the day, I thought, we'll give this a go and see what kind of reception I get from this time. Okay. So just another minute here. We'll go ahead and get started, guys. If you don't know exactly. I know I have DRE Trader and Shadow Trader. I have 6 folks in the room. If you would be kind enough to announce yourself, and if you are new, that's great. You can let me know. That would be excellent. And I'll get my platform all kind of set up on this end. We'll probably start with the gold trade, and then we'll follow it up with a trade that was taken in crude oil. So, all right. So we are 5 past the hour. Let's go ahead and get started here, guys. Hey, Alejandro. All right. So we'll start with gold here and talk through an opportunity that I found in gold, and then we'll move on and discuss crude oil trade, and then we'll if we have some time here at the end, we can open up the session to any market that you would like me to review. But I thought it would be interesting, especially once we get to the crude oil trade. The crude oil was initially not very clear as to what direction it wanted to go, and it was not easy. And eventually, kind of revealed to us and to the market on what it wanted to do eventually. So, all right, let's just kind of clear up my chart here. I will be displaying my chart here in a minute. So let's see here. We're gonna trying to kind of figure out some things. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe here. That's always very beneficial. All right, let's see. Just kind of again, guys, just making the last a few notes here, just to make sure I have the accurate levels and timing for these trades. Okay, so we had a gold trade here. Didn't take actually too long. And then we had a trade later this morning around (8:00). All right. Okay, so I think I have what I need here. All right. So let's go ahead and again share my screen here. As I mentioned, we are going to go ahead and start with the gold chart. I'm going to go ahead and turn off some of these levels here, and then we'll go ahead and display my screen. Hey, Frizu. Hopefully everyone had a good week overall. Hopefully you didn't give back any of the profits made over the week. Okay. So all right. So let's go ahead and share my screen here, guys. Okay. And we'll get started. All right. So we'll go gold. All right. And we're gonna go ahead and play the market forward here, guys. And again, I think this is probably the most beneficial, I would say, for those who are still kind of working through a strategy or trying to understand exactly what type of trader that they are. It's always good, I think, to review the trades, to review the opportunities, review the locations that we focus in on. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move this to the 15. So this is about 15 minutes before the market. And again, we'll kind of take a peek here at the 4-hour chart and get a peek as to what the market was at that moment in time. Okay. You can see here I have the overlay here on the right hand side. So you can see here that looking at the 4-hour chart, and I do this on a daily basis in our pre-market review. We always start out with a kind of high level review of the market. Okay, and we're focused in on the daily, the 4-hour, and the 30-minute, just to get a feel for what the market is trying to accomplish. And so you can see here, basically at the start of the session, this is the 4-hour chart now. We're starting to develop a little bit of a double bottom, right? So expectation is that if this candle closes in its current form, that the expectation is that we could eventually get the market to maybe continue to move in this kind of direction, and maybe establish a double bottom. Okay. Um, so in any case, that's kind of what we were seeing on the 4 hour. We're going to go ahead and move on to the 30-minute chart, and this is where I start to do a little bit of volume analysis here, guys. For those who have attended my sessions, I'm very big on arriving and understanding where price is in relation to some levels, right? Whether it's value areas, whether it's supply and demand, whether it's VWAP. Okay. So I kind of gather all this information together just to kind of form, um, I guess, kind of a view of the market. Okay. So here we are again. This is like a half hour before the start of the market. We see that we are developing or had just closed on a 30-minute candle that was engulfing, that crossed this blue line here is volume weighted average price. Okay. So the first order of business that I generally do here is I open up what I is called the average daily range. All right. So kind of close this down here a little bit. And basically, in a nutshell, the average daily range is as the title implies, it tries to capture the average range of price, okay, that the instrument will make. Okay. So it basically takes the highs and lows, let's say for the past 14, 21 days, and basically arrives at what the average range of this market is. Okay. So you can see here that we had reacted away from this ADR low. Okay. And started to show signs that maybe I had identified a location where it could rally from. Okay. So that's the first thing. And then the next thing that I like are to kind of support my view here is I generate the volume profile from the prior day session. Okay. So I'm going to locate the start of Thursday, and then go ahead and drag across till the close of Thursday. Okay. And there's our value range. Okay. So I often use this level here. Okay. This level. So I'm just going to, again, call these levels out. And again, we have value area low here, and this is value area high. Okay. Right. And what I was kind of, you can see here where we're technically above value. There was an attempt here just prior to the market to see whether there was any, how you say, anybody open to the idea of maybe gold accepting value from yesterday. Now, in this particular instance, it was rejected. Okay, and price closed below another indicator that I like to use, and this is the 230. This level right here is our 233-day EMA. Okay, 233-day EMA. So price had closed above my daily VWAP, above my 233-day EMA, and I'm about to go ahead and draw in an anchor VWAP here, right at sort of the turning point here at London. Okay. So I'm starting to get some evidence here, and this is before the market. I'm starting to get some evidence here that there maybe is some more upside opportunities in this market. Okay. I do understand in the recent past that I'm still kind of relatively inside bearish structure. So let's go ahead and start playing forward. Okay. Playing this forward here a little bit. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and draw here, this is 15-minute candle. Well, I'm going to make sure that we have our initial balance ranges opened here. I was just going to kind of play this forward here a little bit. So here's our initial balance range. The first 15 minutes, I use the first hour. Okay. Before I decide to, before I even begin to think about any sort of opportunity. So, okay. So as you can see here, Really nothing to indicate here that this particular move, bullish move that we're experiencing is stalling in any kind of way, right? We're starting to see higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so this is the first 15-minute bar. We'll just kind of play this forward. Now, what I generally like to do is I generally like to wait for the first hour of trade. Okay, first hour of trade before I take on any sort of executions. So you can see here, price remains above all these indicators that we care about, right? We have price above our daily VWAP. We have price above our anchor VWAP, and now price is closed above our 233-day EMA. Okay, so this is still a half hour into it. Okay, we'll go ahead and continue to play this forward. All right, so just play this forward, candle at a time. Now we had gotten into this area here, and I don't know, in pre-market review, the view was bullish, but like I tell most people that I'm not really interested in paying retail. I feel that any trade up at this level at that moment in time would have been paying retail, right? So in a situation where we have any sort of directional move, I like to use some sort of reference level, okay, to support my trade. Oftentimes, I will wait for price to get above initial balance before I take on any sort of execution. Okay, so this is the third bar in this series. So we'll play the last bar. IB high is one tick above the previous high. Oh, interesting. Okay, one tick above the previous high. So I don't know. Maybe that's kind of a clue, Sergey. I'm not sure, but certainly it doesn't hurt, right? So here we go. We'll go ahead and play this forward. Okay. Now we had reached the level here. Okay, we had reached the level here where I generally like to participate, right? I often tell people that if we're in any sort of directional move, that often the daily VWAP and the anchor VWAP offer us a good price location. Okay, but I just don't want to randomly select this range. I want to see evidence. Well, this 15-minute candle, certainly is starting to give us some evidence. Okay, certainly starting to give us some evidence that maybe there might be an opportunity for an execution to the upside. Okay, now we're still technically, okay, like I said, we're already have established the initial balance range 1, 2, 3, 4. As I mentioned, the initial balance range is the high and low of the market. Okay, so our initial balance range is established. So we'll go ahead and click on play here. All right. Now, I may have, so I was kind of thinking that I wanted to participate in the long, okay, but that I wanted to have some evidence of that, okay? And my evidence was around this area right here, okay? I wanted to see a break of structure to the upside. That was kind of my, I guess, I understood that we were in a bullish channel. At this point, the initial balance range is established. I felt like we were a relatively strong move to the upside. Okay. At this point, I'm kind of looking at the volume delta. I don't know why my ADX indicator is not here, but we'll go ahead and add it. Okay. Another thing that I've been kind of adding of late here is this ADX here. Okay. So these are all kind of secondary indications to evaluate how strong of a move are we currently in. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. So you can see here that as of this candle right here, the initial candle hour before the market, our positive DI had crossed above our negative DI. Okay, and it basically remained above. Now, the only thing that was kind of lagging here is that our momentum, in this case, the baby boo line, hadn't really turned the corner. So at this point, after this candle, I think if I'm not mistaken, I mentioned that I was kind of looking for an opportunity to maybe for an execution on a break of any sort of structure here. Okay. So this was kind of my line in the sand. I realized that we had the initial balance high here. So this is the 630 candle. And so we'll go ahead and continue playing this forward. Okay. So we got another candle to move down. So it wasn't really ready. Okay. We still have not gotten any sort of break above. Okay. And so this is the, what's that, 645 candle. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and okay. All right. So at this point, I was actually following this. Is already kind of pretty much the trade. I don't know if I can actually play this back. Let's play this back here a little bit. Okay. I had actually had a stop order. I had a stop order here at what was it? 2743.9. Okay. Had a stop order placed, buy stop order at 2743.9. All right, so let's take a look at this, maybe a little bit smaller time frame chart at this point. Okay. At this point, you guys already know me by now. They call me Mr. Picasso, mainly because I like seeing some sort of price action leading up to my trades. Okay, or basically price event in this case to support my trade. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can locate my parallel lines here. Where are they? Let's see, maybe this one right here. Okay. So at this point, I would probably, would draw something along these kind of lines. Okay. So as long as I'm in this kind of bearish structure, I'm not in a trade. Okay. Now this green bar, let's see, green line. I'm not exactly sure where that's coming from. Okay. Where's my initial balance? I don't know. Initial balance seems to have gone away as well. Oh, there it is. Initial balance in yellow. Okay. So my two lines in the sand were basically this 2739.9. Okay. I had a buy stop order. at that level. Buy stop. Oh, it's value area low. Okay, fair enough. I had a buy stop order. If I knew how to type, I'd be golden. At 2743.9. Okay, so hopefully everybody understands why 2347.9 or 43.9. What is it about that price? What is it about that price that I would be interested in? Anyone? Yeah, it basically clears that bearish structure, right? It's a higher high, right? This high right here, the high here is 2743.6. Okay. So I had a buy stop order here, and my view on this, that we had a reasonable chance to get to value area high. Okay. We had a reasonable chance to get up to a value area high. That was my goal, right? So if I'm measuring this, if I'm looking at the long position tool on this, my entry here, okay, my target is up here, and my stop, would have to be, somewhere either below this candle, okay, or somewhere below the initial balance range, okay. This area here in yellow is our initial balance range. So let's say that, go ahead and open this up here. I'm going to put it not quite below this candle here, but this seems like a reasonable area to support my stop. It's below my area of entry as well as my initial balance high. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this forward. Okay, so kind of continue to kind of grind down here. Now it made one last check of value area low. You see how we kind of got back inside value. So this is kind of like I would kind of call this kind of a value area acceptance trade. Do you guys understand the concept of value area acceptance? Right? We got price to come back down. Price came back inside value. And the idea was that this trade was going to rotate all the way through value. Okay. It just so happened that we were inside initial balance. But the motivation of this trade was based not on initial balance, right? It was based on value, on the value. Okay. We had a nice bounce here off of value area low. Okay. So like I said, so if we get into this trade, our stop is somewhere below structure here. And so we have, somewhere in the range of maybe 3.4, maybe up to as high as 3.5 to 1 risk reward on this opportunity. Okay. So we'll go ahead and continue to play forward. Okay. So we're starting to grind higher. Okay. So we kind of made it back inside value again. Now we retested our anchor VWAP. You guys see that, right? We got a retest of our anchor VWAP. Continue to play forward. All right. Now we're back inside value again. All right. And we got our entry. Okay. That was our entry right there. Okay. So our candle closed. I'll go ahead and remove this. All right. We got our entry. Okay. This candle here closed at a high of 2744.4. I got in at 2743.9. Okay. So I'm in the trade. All right. And my target is this price above me here at 27, basically value area high. Okay. This is value area high up here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Why is it? All right. All right. Value. All right. Let's do it this way because I couldn't see what I was typing here. Okay. All right. There it is. So our value area high was my target. So we'll continue playing this forward. There's our candle kind of hovering around my exit price. Okay. Now we got to push. I think this technically closed above. This is one tick. The close here was one tick above value area, not initial balance high. So this yellow line is initial balance high. Okay. Initial balance. I'm all thumbs today, guys. There it is. Okay. Initial balance high. So we get one tick above initial balance high and just continue playing this forward. All right. We got another clear candle above. And basically this trade reached the target without much in the way of resistance. Okay. So at this point, I think I exited out of this trade, not on this candle, but I exited out at, let's see, at this point, I'm managing this trade with what now, guys? What am I using to manage this trade? My channels, right? I'm watching this trade via channels, my 2-minute channel, correct? Okay. So we've exceeded, at this point, we've exceeded value area high. And you can see my indicators, my indication here, very strong. Let's see if I can bring this up here. Our volume delta, you see that we got volume delta is aligned with the direction of price. Volume is coming into this. We see that our ADX indicator is also giving us a positive sign. Okay, so just kind of continue playing this forward. Okay, and not this candle, and there was my exit. Okay, I ended up exiting this trade at 2750.5. Okay, I might have actually entered. I might have actually exited on that first red candle that we got there. Okay, let's move this over to the right. Okay, move this over to the right. Okay, and that was the extent. So this was basically a value area acceptance trade. Okay, that's what it amounted to be, right? We got price to close back inside value. It hung around value for a period of time, was not able to leave it, and we ended up rotating through the entire range of value. Okay, so that was trade number one. In this particular case, I got let's see how many ticks here. Was it 7 points? 7.4. Okay, yeah, 7.4. All right, so that was trade number one. Okay. Yeah, the 4 hour is notice how strong the 4 hour was looking. Okay, that gave me some added confidence that I was in a very good directional trade. Good, and that's a good call out by you, Sergey. Right, the 4 hour was telling me the same thing. Okay, all right. So that was trade number one. Any questions on trade number one? Okay, pretty straightforward trade. We were in bullish structure. We found a location to participate. We demanded certain things out of the market before we decided to start or to participate. Okay. Now the more interesting one here is the crude oil, because crude oil initially I entered the trade short. Okay, and I'm going to explain why. Okay. Okay. So this is crude oil. Let's go ahead and remove some of my indicators. Why didn't I enter at the break of the channel? You're talking on the gold chart? This one right here? Why didn't I enter here? Is that what you're asking me? That would certainly be would have been a consideration. Okay. But I had this line drawn. Okay. I wanted to see a break of structure. Okay. A break of price structure, and the structure that I had aligned. Okay. This is still technically inside this same structure. Okay. So I wanted to see price get above this area here before okay. Now, could you have entered here? But the same, you could have probably made the same case here as well, right, Frizu? Right? Why not enter long here? Right? This is the same kind of break, correct? And you could have potentially played this inside initial balance, right? I chose to wait for price to get above this, and then I feel that is kind of the indication that maybe there's going to move into a trend. Okay. But yeah, there's probably, if I wanted to play this maybe a little bit more of a range trade, well, I had a couple of opportunities here, right? Go ahead and move this, right? I had a couple of opportunities where I could have maybe done a range trade, right? Right here, that was opportunity number one, and then opportunity number two. Okay. But I was looking for some break. I was looking for a break of price structure. That's what caused me to wait. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the crude oil chart. And like I said, initially, guys, in this particular trade, I actually took the trade short. Okay. But I didn't. I was not super patient with it when I wasn't seeing exactly what I needed to see. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move back. All right, we're going to move back here to the start of the market. All right, the market opens up here. Okay. Okay, so there we are. And, similar kind of thing, right? We're looking at the 4 hour, and the 4 hour is developing what kind of candle? Well, the 4 hour is developing a kind of a bullish candle with a buying wick below it, right? So 4 hour is kind of indicating that maybe there is a little bit of life here to the longs. Okay. So I'm looking at this volume delta is also aligned to longs. I see that price is above the EMA, above my anchor VWAP, above my daily VWAP. Okay, a lot of things indicating long. All right. So what we're going to go ahead and kind of open up our ADR levels. Okay, we have ADR levels above us. We're going to go ahead and kind of start to kind of step through this a little bit and make sure that I have the initial balance opened here as well. Okay, so there's the start of the initial balance range. All right, and let's see. We'll continue to play this forward. Okay, so we get a little bit of a push. Now, initially, I was kind of hesitant. Why was I hesitant on long? Who can tell me why I might be a little bit hesitant on long, even though we're in bullish structure? Who can tell me a little bit about this area here above me? What is this area above me? Yeah, it's ADR high, right? This is this average daily range high, right? So when I was looking at this, and I wasn't initially interested in participating in a long trade right up against ADR high, because what happens, what does price do generally when we get close to ADR high? It often does what? It often reverses, right? It often reverses from that level. Okay. Yeah, and it didn't necessarily, it did not break above the initial balance range. Okay. So when I was looking at this trade, and we'll just go ahead and continue playing this forward. Okay. So I was seeing some signs. Okay. I was seeing some indecision, right? We were getting some indecision candles, right? We had wicks on both sides. And I was starting to see maybe it's trying to make a case for a short. Now, before I go too far into this, let's open up my fixed range volume profile. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up the profile from yesterday. Okay, and we're going to locate the 9 a.m. bar. Here it is. Drag that across to the close right here. Okay, so price is above. Oh, let's go ahead and extend this line. Okay, let's extend this line because that's value right here. Okay. So you see that. So this is, let's remove this. Okay. So you see that this is above, this is our value area high line, right? This is, so price is above value. So what's generally our view of the market if price is above value? That's a question for the group. Bullish, right? Our view of the market is bullish. Okay. But I had, again, I had some conflicting pieces of information, right? I was above value, but I was up against ADR. Okay. So initially, I ended up taking, a short trade on this. Let's go ahead and continue playing this forward. And okay. So I ended up taking a short trade. Okay. And I think it was actually Sergey was kind of alerting at us on the possibility that maybe this was going to be a failed auction to the downside. Okay. So I can't recall exactly what the execution was here, but I did take initially a short trade. Okay. Somewhere probably in this candle right here. Okay. But then after I noticed that so guys, what was probably going through my mind, similar to what I was going my mind when I was up here, right? What was I concerned about? What was I concerned about? Maybe after the fact, probably should have checked on this before. What was I concerned? What was my concern with the short after it broke? Yeah, I had the EMA, I had my daily VWAP, I had my anchor VWAP, and I had my value area high, all in this vicinity, right? So when I did not see, we saw a massive a massive volume delta candle. Yes, you guys see this massive volume delta candle, right? Right here that broke everything, right? Now, after seeing a volume candle like this, do you generally expect to see a wimpy volume delta candle afterwards? You're expecting price to really kind of being driven lower, right? Did that happen after this volume delta candle? It didn't, did it? All right. So I was a little suspicious. I was a little suspicious that I was in the wrong trade. Okay. I felt that this short trade did not have any legs. Okay. After this volume delta candle, I was feeling pretty good. Yes, I wasn't liking it at all. Right. So yeah, yeah, having the value area high in such close vicinity, that was also a telltale sign. Now, had price followed through, right? Had price followed through on this volume delta and gave me a close below value area high, yeah, there was no follow through, right? Had price closed back inside value area high, do you think I might have a different opinion? Do you think I might have a different opinion had price closed back inside initial? Absolutely. And because it did not, and it stayed above this daily VWAP and stayed above this EMA, I actually put a buy stop order at this at 71. Okay, 71 was my buy stop order. Okay, right here, right there. Okay, I scratched it. I just cut the trade. All right, it was just a scratch trade. I may have lost commissions on that trade. Okay. Did not like what I was seeing, did not see the follow through after this volume delta. And I said to myself, and you kind of clued me into it a little bit, was the potential failed auction opportunity. Okay. So this was really a scratch trade for me. I cut the trade. Okay. And I was starting to build a case as I was looking at this. I was starting to build a case that says, I'm seeing the 4-hour, give us a very strong signal to the upside. And then I'm looking at this swing, okay? And if I look at this swing, right? Well, this looks like merely what? This merely looks like a retracement, right? This merely looks like a retracement of this swing here, right? And really what I was looking at was not a reversal trade, but a continuation trade. Right? Yeah, the trap. Yes, this was a seller's trap. The trap was that they trapped some sellers around this area here, right? That was the trap that was set by the buyers. But and the fact that we got this strong volume delta bar, right? Yeah. So the idea is that we reacted. There was no follow through. Right? Since we did not have any follow through and it did not close below my daily VWAP, did not close below my EMA, and did not close below value, I just cut the trade. Okay. And then I would say that probably within, maybe 5 minutes, okay, I had placed a buy stop order. Okay. A buy stop order at 71. Okay. So I had a buy stop order at 71. Now, how much risk am I really taking in this trade, guys? How much risk am I really taking in this trade? If I decide to go with a buy, where is this invalidated? What location would this trade be invalid? Yeah, just below. I mean, it depends, right? I could put now. Couldn't I have put this stop all the way down below, say some maybe my EMAs and my anchor VWAP, and maybe even potentially below my value area high? Any of those levels would have served as a good stop on this. Okay. Now, if right, I had evidence that this area should be supportive, right? And if it wasn't, then I'm not risking all that much to understand that. Okay. Now, if you guys noticed, I did this Fibonacci extension, okay, on this swing, and it gave me a target of, what is this? 71.87. Okay. It gave me a target of 71. That is the 100%. No, that's actually initial balance. This actually gave me a target of 72.21. Okay. But it gave me a target of, I didn't take it all the way up to 72.21, but I got close. Okay. Oh, ASR was there. Okay. Let's open up ASR. Maybe that's why 71.95 was coming up on my radar. Let's see. All right, there it is. 71.95. Okay. So I felt this trade, should price close back inside an initial balance, right, that it had an opportunity to make a full swing up to 71.96. Okay. So again, if I take my long tool here, all right, and my entry is 71, my target is 71.95. Okay. And my stop loss is somewhere below either initial balance or maybe below some of this structure, say at 70.76. So guys, what kind of risk reward is this trade? Is it reasonable risk reward? Yeah, pretty good, wasn't it? Right, 3.76. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's play this out here a little bit. Okay, so we'll hit this bar here. This 1 15-minute bar. Okay, we should look at this and more. This is probably not so exciting here, but that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see if I can play this back here a little bit. And we're going to change to a 2-minute bar. It basically, yeah, set it and forget it, right? Didn't take too long, did it? Right? So here we are. Okay. I felt like I was Thomas. I felt like I was in a good location. Okay. I felt like I had reached an extreme. Okay. Yeah. Basically, Bigfoot stepped in. Okay. Bigfoot felt that was a good level too. Okay. Yeah. It was a very good location. Okay. So we'll just play this off of the 2-minute chart, and we started to get a reaction away. And then we start to see that price is starting to show signs here. Now, guys, what's my first target? I know I told you guys that my initial target on this trade was what? What would be a good initial target on this trade, since we're kind of hovering on IB low? What would be a good initial target on this trade? Yeah, IB high, right? IB high was a perfectly reasonable target for this trade, right? IB high. Or yeah, maybe ADR, right? Average daily range would have been perfectly okay too. What's this green bar? What's this green line up here? Nothing? No, that's value area high. This green line up here is value area high, right? So do I have some targets? Now, even if I do my long tool, and let's say again, I take this trade just to IB high, which I know a number of you did, and then I felt like you guys were kicking yourselves afterwards from doing that. Let's see. Is that still a reasonable trade? Guys, is that still a reasonable trade to take? Is there anything wrong with identifying a target like IB high and taking your trade off. Perfectly reasonable, right? Right now, I had mentioned that at my initial target, and I wasn't really seeing anything that was indicating to me that there's any kind of loss in steam here, right? Once it moved, it moved pretty fast. Okay, we were getting some strong momentum. Look at the volume delta, strong momentum to the upside, right? Volume delta, price. Let's see. I don't know why I don't have my ADX indicator. I keep adding it and it keeps going away. ADX. Okay, so our ADX indicator is also telling us what happened here. We get a positive reading, right? Our positive ADI, our positive DI, right, is aligned with direction, isn't it? We change this to baby blue here. Okay. Right. So a lot of confirmation on this, right? So I had even mentioned that I thought that this had still a fair amount of momentum in to continue. Okay. All right. So we'll just go ahead and continue playing this forward. Okay. A little bit of a pullback, back to heading higher. Okay. Got to our IB high, initial balance high, and I think a number of you took the trade off at that level. Right. Where is this coming from? Higher time frame. Okay. Right. So IB high is already met. Target reached. Would have been a perfectly good trade to take, right? What's the upper one? This is the value area high line. Settlement is not up until, where is settlement? 70, 30, 70. Settlement is below. Settlement is down here. Okay. So this upper line, this is a value area high line, and then this line right here is our ASR high, 71.96. Okay. This other line here is the 100% extension, was 100% extension of this initial balance line. Okay. Again, statistics, right? So we'll continue to play this forward, and within seconds, we get back to this level here. Now, notice. Was there some sellers up here? Was there sellers kind of in the wings waiting for this 71.96 level? Do you think there's a fair number of people that closed their trades there? I managed to get out of this trade at 71.73. But in all honesty, guys, there was a fair amount of slippage, right? Even if I track this on a 1 minute chart, right? Even I track this on the 1 minute chart. Yeah, you guys were taking profits, right? You were getting out of your positions, right? So this trade right here played out according to plan. Okay. And I would say that the same is true of the gold trade. But this one in particular, I was actually quite proud of because of the fact that not only did it hit initial balance high, it actually reached my 71.96 level that I had kind of called out. And again, gave me further evidence as to why I look at things like average session range. Okay. All right. Any questions on this trade? Any questions on sort of the setup, what led me to the trade? But I think that the key thing that I want to call out on this trade, guys, is that the fact of my willingness to change direction. How many people in this room are change direction? You know, once you I guess what I was particularly proud of in myself, and it's hard for me to do as well, is that when I get set in a particular direction, it's not always easy for me to change my view on where the market could go. Does that make sense? Yeah, usually in the penalty box. But Sergey, but the thing that I would say that I would take away from this trade, Sergey, I may have overlooked the importance of value area high, right? I wouldn't say necessarily overlook the importance of value area high, not value area, yeah, value area high, right? Is that I think the thing that I would say that I'm most proud of is that I recognized when price was not behaving the way I would expect it to behave, right? It was not behaving the way I would expect it to behave, okay? And that I was willing to, to admit that I was wrong, okay? That I was wrong on the trade, and I was getting evidence on the contrary, right? I got evidence on the contrary that I was not in a sustained auction to the downside. I was in the middle of a potential failed auction to the upside, right? Yes, I call that yes. I call that a reversal in time. Otherwise, I probably would have missed out on the trade because the trade did not last very long, right? Once the buyers decided that they were going to go in, they did, and within 14 minutes, we reached the other side of initial balance all the way up to ADR high. Okay, yeah, that was it. Could have been many Bigfoots, right? Could have been many Bigfoots. Technically, if you look at these 2-minute bars, Frizu, these are all closes below initial balance. Right? These are all closes below initial balance. Now, maybe we didn't get a close. Well, I think even on the 15-minute chart, we got a close below initial balance, right? It wasn't the strongest of closes, right? This closed below initial balance, but it closed with what? What did it close with? It closed with a buying wick, and it stayed above my daily VWAP, my EMA, my anchor VWAP. Okay. So I did get my close, right? I did get my close, but it wasn't the strongest of closes, right? Now, what was the bias of the market leading up to that move outside initial balance? Were we in an upswing or in a downswing? We were in an upswing, right? So we needed, in order to support that bearish trade, we needed to see price close below our VWAP, close below our anchor VWAP, and ideally we needed price to close back inside value to really support a trade in the bearish direction. Does that make sense? That's I would say that's probably a very important clue that we could have taken. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yeah. Basically, yeah. This volume delta turned out to be an exhaustion bar. Okay. Because if we look at this in isolation, guys, right? If we look at that exhaustion bar in isolation, what are we thinking? We're thinking that the bottom has just popped open of the bucket, right? And we're headed lower. And in actuality, the sellers gave one last bit of effort to move lower, and then there was no more sellers to be found. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, you see, we have that 15-minute bar. It never allowed price to close below that VWAP. Not only on our daily, but not even our anchor nor our EMA. Okay. So we had three pieces of evidence here, right? Three confluences that would indicate that maybe this was a good location. Okay. Now, for the opportunity that we took here, guys, was the risk minimal? We didn't have to risk all that much to figure out whether this is going to be a good trade or not, did we? Right? Did not have to risk all that much. Okay? Because this move was quite swift, right? It did it. This is a take no prisoner type of move, right? Okay. All right, guys. Well, that was pretty much, what I wanted to, articulate, or wanted to share with you guys with respect to the markets. We are on the top of the hour, and I do unfortunately have a commitment that I need to make here. Won't be able to spend too much more time here, but I'm happy to entertain any sort of questions that you have. Like I said, I'm particularly proud of myself of the fact that I was able to course correct. Okay. I was able to course correct and realize when I was not in the appropriate trade, and the fact I was not getting the price action that I would expect to get after receiving a volume delta like this. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's it for me. This is kind of a bonus session that we're doing on YouTube. We'll see if we, hopefully we can get some more participation in the future. Yeah, we did get a close below, but it wasn't the Frizu. It wasn't the strongest of closes, right? This bar here is not telling us strength, right? When we see buying wicks coming in below it, that's not strength, right? Okay. So yeah. So again, when this recording becomes available, guys, please, I encourage you to hit likes, to make a comment or two, on how this potentially, I think it's probably, how many folks in this room actually took the trade with me? I think it was a fair number of you, actually, if I'm not mistaken. How many people in this room have took the trade with me? Thomas, did you take the trade? Okay. Yeah, no, I do recall a fair number of you did participate with me on this trade. Okay. All right, guys. Well, if there's no more question, messed up and had it on your practice account, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Like I said, these opportunities do. And I as I remember, a mentor used to comment to me about is when we have opportunities or price comes to a location, we need to be dressed and ready for the party. Okay. So in the future, take that as a learning, right? And say, yeah, copy on 3 combines if you can, right? Because we don't get this location often, right? And when price comes to a location, we want to take advantage of it, especially when we get some sort of confirmation. Like I said, had I waited for a 15-minute bar here, right, this trade for the most part would have been done, right? And that is a characteristic of initial balance reversals. Okay, that's a characteristic of failed auctions. They're swift. Okay, so you can't always wait for that 15-minute bar close and still feel like you can participate in the trade. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me today. Again, a special Friday session. Okay. Normally, I don't like taking up too much of my Friday afternoons. Generally, Fridays are my family days. Okay. So, yeah. So, ended the week with very well. Okay. All right, Sepadia. Yeah. So again, if you're new to I don't think most people are here. It looks like they're all veterans. But if you're new, don't be shy about the likes. Don't be shy about comments. And yeah, have an excellent weekend. And we'll pick up again on. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go. Hit some golf balls. Yes, improve on my game. All right, Frizu and everyone else, have an excellent weekend, and we'll talk again on Monday. All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon.